The hospital room was silent except for the steady beeping of machines. Adrian Blackwell, the billionaire CEO who had once commanded boardrooms and built an empire of steel and glass, now lay frail and weak. His face, once sharp with power, was pale. His hands, which had signed billion-dollar deals, trembled. Doctors whispered outside. Investors sent flowers more for appearance than care, and so-called friends checked their watches, already circling like vultures. He was dying, and no one could save him. Adrian had everything money could buy, but not what he needed most. Not love, not hope, not family. That's when the door creaked open, and Daniel Hayes, a single father and war veteran, stepped inside. Daniel wasn't rich. He wasn't a doctor. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He worked as a hospital handyman, fixing lights and repairing broken equipment. But life had taught him something money never could: how to fight for someone's soul when the world had already given up. He saw the billionaire lying there, surrounded by machines but completely alone. No family, no real friends, just silence. And in that silence, Daniel saw something painfully familiar, because he, too, had once been on the edge of losing everything after the war. "Looks like you're in a battle no one's fighting with you," Daniel said softly, pulling up a chair. Adrian's tired eyes flickered open. For the first time in days, he focused on someone, not a doctor, not a lawyer, just a broken bar man. "Why are you here?" Adrian rasped. Daniel gave a half smile. "Because I know what it's like to fight alone." In the days that followed, Daniel kept showing up. He read to Adrian from books left on the hospital shelves. He told him stories about his daughter, Lilia, about how she drew him cards when nightmares from the war kept him awake. He even brought Lily with him one evening, and for the first time in years, Adrian laughed as she proudly handed him a crayon drawing of Castle. It wasn't medicine that was healing him. It was something no billionaire could buy: genuine human connection. But the journey wasn't smooth. Adrian resisted at first. His pride burned. "I don't need pity from a broke handyman," he spat one night. Daniel didn't flinch. "Then don't take it as pity. Take it as respect from one man who's fought battles to another who's still fighting." Another challenge came when Adrian's business partners learned about Daniel. They sneered. "The CEO is losing his men to listening to some nobody single dad. We need to take control of the company." They tried to push Adrian out of his position before he was even buried. Daniel stood by him, reminding him, "You've fought for money all your life. Fight for something bigger this time. Fight for the people who still believe in you." Slowly, with Daniel's encouragement, Adrian found the strength to get up, to try treatments he had refused, to face the boardroom not as the cold CEO but as a man willing to change. One night, Adrian admitted something he had never told anyone. "All my life, I chased money because I thought it would fill the hole my parents left when they abandoned me for business. But here I am dying, surrounded by everything, a broken bar, and it means nothing." His voice cracked. "Why are you helping me, Daniel? Why waste your time on a man like me?" Daniel leaned forward, his eyes steady. "Because love isn't wasted. Because one day, I want my daughter to grow up in a world where people choose compassion over power. If I can teach her that even with you, then I've already won." Adrian wept. For the first time in decades, he let himself be human. Weeks turned into months. Against all odds, Adrian's condition stabilized. Not cured, but fighting. The billionaire who once ruled through fear now spent evenings coloring with Lily, walking slowly down hospital halls with Daniel, and even donating to veterans programs, not for publicity, but because for once, he cared. He rebuilt his company, but differently this time. Employees noticed he greeted them by name, asked about their families, and listened. He gave Daniel a permanent role, not as an employee, but as a trusted advisor and friend. The final scene came one spring afternoon. Outside the hospital garden, Adrian sat with Daniel and Lily, watching her chase butterflies. His voice was weak, but his smile was genuine. "I used to think I was dying with nothing," he whispered. "But you showed me broken bar. Even in my last chapters, I could live with everything that truly matters." Daniel placed a hand on his shoulder. "It was never money you needed, Adrian. It was love. And it's never too late to choose it." Adrian closed his eyes, letting the sun warm his face. For the first time in his life, He felt at peace, and not as a billionaire, not as a CEO, but as a man who had finally learned the value of love. The message: money can buy medicine, but it can't buy healing. It can build empires, but not families. In the end, it's not riches or titles that save USA, it's love, sacrifice, and the people who refuse to give up on us when everyone else has.